Today a tip for some easy kinahs with minimum efforts. In Inggison and Gelkmaros, there are some harvesting nodes called weathered objects. You need to be 400 in essence taping to extract from it, and you have to buy an item to be allowed to do it. The NPC selling it is called Kretos on Elios side and Lucia on Asmo's side. They are in pretty hidden places. Here's how you get to them. In Inggison, take the airstream from Soteria and exit on your right just before the end of the canyon. If you miss it, you can still use the geyser to have a second chance. On the Asmo side, it's a bit easier. Fly to Subterranea camp and take the airstream that leads to the gate. On your right before the end, Lucia is waiting for you next to Sorolov. You can only buy 20 items per day, limiting the amount one player can farm. The weathered object nodes, instead of giving you a specific resource, can give you many different things. The most common is the chunk of earth. It contains 10 of any white gatherable resource, from level 10 to 55. Chunk of sand is the same for green resources, chunk of rock for blue and chunk of gemstones for gold. You can also get something more original, a petal of any kind to dye your gear, a vitality crystal to gain 4 KHP instantly, an old weathered seal, which I already talked about in a previous video, or a mysterious lump. Mysterious lump contains one of the level 50 gold weapon with a unique plant-like skin. Overall, it is certain a big part of your harvest will be worthless, but even resources can net you a nice amount of kinah. As an example, here is the result of 30 minutes. Weathered objects have a long respawn time, and their spawn mechanics are a bit special. For example, in Inggison, several areas, which I'll detail later, have 5 possible spawns. But there can only be 3 at the same time, and each one will spawn 1.5 hours after the previous one, which means if you see 2 side by side, nobody came the last 3 hours. In Inggison, there are 4 areas, and I'll show you how to get to them. The first one is just south of Angreave Gate on top of the rocks. To reach it, use the geyser on its west side. For the second area, start from the Angreave Gate again. Follow the right wall heading north and jump on the rock as soon as you can. Backtrack a bit and fly to the other side of the canyon. The third spot is in the Skysling Canyon. Jump inside but don't go to the bottom of it. On the west side, use the geyser to go above the flying area and check the islands. The fourth one is deep inside the Rokoros, the Shulak area north of Inggison capital. Navigate your way between the mobs and jump into the stream. They'll be at the end. In Gelkmaros, you can find them in 4 main places: south of the capital, on small shelves hanging from the cliffs; north of the capital, on the floating island only reachable by taking the airstream; all around the Marayas on the platforms hanging mid-depth of the canyon; and the fourth place is south of Crimson Temple on the floating island with wind spirits. You can find all the coordinates to put in your memo pad in the description.